Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to look at a comparison review of two pretty interesting bourbons, Dustin, that had some exotic cask maturations. The Old Forester 117 series. This one, what was it, aged in a Scotch barrel?
Yeah.
And then the Woodford Reserve here, aged in an ex-sherry cask. Woodford Reserve comes in at 45.2% ABV, and the Old Forester at 48.
46.5.
46.5. So that's a little bit more about the cask maturations, why we thought this was an interesting comparison, Dustin.
Small correction here, Mike. This is actually believe it or not, guys, Woodford is doing a blended malt.
Forgive me.
For this one. So this is bourbon, this is blended malt. Woodford's about to release a single malt. I don't know what the differences are and what it means. This is both under the umbrella, Mike, of whatchamacallit, a Brown Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe there's some similarities in the yeasts, similarities in the bourbons that come out of these two distilleries. So different stills, a lot of differences obviously here. But I thought, you know what, they're both. And by the way, this Scotch cask, it's a sherry Scotch cask.
Okay, so yeah, basically two. That's right, two sherry, basically sherry.
Yeah, they're two sherry whiskeys coming out in these experimental little bottles that cost way too much that I keep buying because they're not that expensive when you only have to pay for half of a bottle.
This was an old school liquor store bottle.
Yeah.
375 mLs that are thin. They put in the paper, drink outside right when they first get out.
Absolutely.
Drink them out, Ripple.
I wish they just made it a little bit more bent so it kind of looks like a fake pocket bottle.
Oh, I mean, that's smooth. You can put that in a pocket. You can put that in a coat
but what they do is they have the old school ones where they kind of bend it a little bit so it actually fits right.
Oh, the curve? Yeah.
They should have just done it. I know they're trying to look more fancy, but whatever. This is never going to look fancy at that size.
It's a great feel to it. If you're going to do 375, do it in this. This is like the chocolate Redux.
Yes.
That was so good.
That is a beautiful.
And of course, Brown Foreman, the company that brings us King Kentucky. So
yeah,
they
definitely know what they can do.
I was a special place in my heart for them for those releases.
Oh man,
Dustin, the
Forester smells really good.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that is sweet.
I'm getting sherry,
sweet candy.
I'm getting raisins, and I'm getting banana Forester.
Yeah. A little bit of Bananas Foster. I know you said
Foster.
Yeah.
No, that was Bananas Forester.
I figured that was just something bourbon guy said to each other. I'm like, you what? I know what you meant by that.
I said it, and I was like, you know what? That is actually what I meant.
It's like happy drinking.
Yeah.
Everything's made up. only matters if it sticks.
I do get a little bit of malt notes coming through from that Scotch cask. Which is surprising. I don't know what they're using for that cask, but it's pretty aggressive.
Besides the cask sweetness in here, there's a nice caramel sweetness in the background. Mm-hmm. Thick caramel. There's multiple levels of sweetness on here.
Well, yeah. I mean, a little bit of dusty vanilla.
Oh, yep. But yeah, vanilla wafer. A little bit of vanilla wafer candy.
Obviously some apples. Rich apples.
How did I miss that?
It's not even subtle. A little bit of spice, maybe a little bit of cinnamon spice.
You remember the dodgeball analogy, right? How did I miss getting pegged with this cinnamon apple? It's not quite cinnamon. It's more like caramel apple, but still.
That was the longest story Mike ever told.
Oh, I loved it.
He's like, we're going to finish this.
Going back, you got to look at me in the eyes. I was reliving. I was seeing it play out in front of my face.
But yeah, really, really nice, Mike.
Beautifulness. Beautiful, sweet.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here on this Woodford. Ooh, comparatively darker.
Yeah.
Kind of subtle chocolate notes, but not quite getting to chocolate.
But you know what? Like a creamy.
What is that?
That banana note is something I would get in the melting pot. There's a flambéed. White chocolate covered banana.
Yeah, flambé is a good way to looking at this. Yeah.
Wow, that is a subtle, silky note.
Did
I say subtle? I did not mean subtle. I'm sorry. I was going too many S's. That was a silky note, but it was not subtle. It was subtle based on the other flavors. Kind of came in the back door, but man, it is a ridge, boy.
So I will say the malt characteristics and I guess the grain characteristics here are subtle, though. There's something there, but I don't know what they are. I'm trying to figure it out.
These are exotic sweetnesses, Dustin.
This is a unique whiskey to bourbon and Scotch drinkers. This has got something else going on here. The sherry is very notable, but it's more on the chocolate side. It's not super fruity.
So many dessert flavors in the Woodford. It's like a pastry shop in Paris in the springtime. You ever been to Paris?
I mean, technically, I've been in the airport
Me
on
neither.
the way out.
Yeah, me neither. But I would imagine that's what it smells like.
It's a terrible airport, I can tell you that much. It's kind of like LAX here. It just shouldn't exist.
They're a culture of artists and creators, not efficient flyers.
I will give you that.
Oh, man, I tell you what, the sweetness in that Woodford is, again, exotic sweetnesses, exotic vanillas. Honeysuckle.
A lot of subtlety and nuance within that malt note, though. Gosh. I did not give this whiskey enough credit when I first started exploring it.
You have really brought over some impressive Woodfords in a range of flavors lately. Because it's not really a Woodfords I usually don't gravitate towards.
Yeah, well, when they do these little bottles, I'm willing to spend a little bit of money. When they go to the big bottles, they're jacking the prices up too much. And
more than just double of what the half would be?
So I paid about $65 for this. I also paid $65 for the double oaked. When they finally put the double oaked in a full bottle, they went to $200. So yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah,
That doesn't make any sense.
yeah. I wanted to bring you guys a Woodford double review of like the full bottle and then compare it to the old ones, and then I was like, nah, I ain't paying
It doesn't
that.
make any sense. I would split every closed bottle I have in two right now and be happy with that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I will always, if it's cheaper to take half, I'll buy two.
absolutely.
It doesn't even make sense.
I'd actually rather do that.
Yes, I'd rather do that.
Like if they're at the same price, I'd rather do that. Let alone at less.
Correct. Yeah, that's I
don't know how their pricing came.
That's got to be one of your crazy stories, Dustin. You sure that's the case?
That's exactly what happened. I paid 50.
You live,
I paid
you live
50
on the border of two states. Maybe one was Kentucky, one was
bought at the same damn store.
Well, that's hard to fake.
And unless you're telling me inflation was that much in 1 year, or 2 years, sorry. Because I bought a little bottle 2 years apart from the new bottle.
That was good.
Ridiculous.
All right, going back to the Old Forester, man, it comes off far more chalky, aggressive, less refined.
It comes off with like some funky, weird Scotch that's barrel aged in it, and I don't know this was a great Scotch barrel they chose.
I keep wanting to go back to Woodford.
Woodford is like,
This sweetness is unique.
the Woodford's not sweet though, Mike. Like
There is a sweet note in this.
there's sweetness, but like it's not sweet. Like the Old Forester's actually is sweeter. The intensity of sweetness is higher.
I agree. This is more dessertish.
I guess this is more candy. This is more like dessert. Okay, I can go there.
What do I call it? A French pastry shop?
Yeah, I can get there. Yeah, there's a lot of butter in this thing.
Not that I could possibly know that. I guess my opinion of what it would look like. Oh, it's so good. All right, you want to taste these things or what?
Let's jump into that Old Forester
All right,
first. So yeah, so this again is bourbon. They're basically about the same ABV again, guys. 46.5 versus
45 and change.
45.2. It's always 90.4 unless they go high.
Big caramel swell in the middle of that experience. Sweet, big caramel swell. Kind of short finish. Kind of tapers off pretty quick after that caramel swell. Cask maturation seems superficial to some degree.
This is what I would expect somebody to tell me is what a grain Scotch whiskey tastes like with refilled sherry casks.
There is a stronger grain note to this than that's a good call.
It's interesting, like because the Scotch cask added a lot of malt and funky Scotch notes. You only really get the sherry note on the finish, which is pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obviously sherry on the finish.
Snappy finish.
I mean, I'm still getting lingering of just the sherry.
Yeah, but it cut
Nothing
down.
else.
It lost 80%.
No, I don't get anything like in the back end. It's all front end sherry, and it's just kind of it's actually a nice sherry note. I wouldn't say it's like premium, but like a Glengoyne, one of the nicer brand sherry casks. Just not epic legend. It's 12-year-old sherry.
Do you owe that thing money? It's average at best. Average at best. You know what?
I just said it's a 12-year-old from
like
the standard brands.
you owe money. I like the nose on this substantially better, and I can't imagine I don't like the palate better. What I'm going for.
Let's see what you think there. But yeah, like I said, this tastes like they used a prior cast from one of the Glengoyne. Oh, actually, Glendronach is part of Brown Forman, so this probably is a Glendronach, like a Glendronach 12 cask. Almost like that, yeah.
Went drunk after Billy Walker left.
Well, of course.
Okay.
12.
So, again, that nice, creamy whipped orange flambe covered in white chocolate notes. It's they're kind of the core of what this is. A little more subtle than I expected on the palate, but again, these are kind of lower ABVs. I mean, these are 46 and 45 and some change, and these are not scotches, so it's well below my threshold of where I want to see it at 50. Still, that dessert note is so unique that, I mean, it's still an enjoyable whiskey, especially for that Old Forester. There's not a whole lot redeeming here, Dustin.
This is very funky, weird maltiness coming in.
It is a bit weird.
The whole mid-palate and finish is just, it's confusing. And I'm hoping what that means is that when Woodford decides to release a single malt instead of this blended malt, you'll get the good notes here, which is sort of this chocolatiness, the richness, that dessert note Mike's getting. Without this, like, weird, like, something's not right here and something wasn't meant to be part of this experience with us.
Part I think they played safe with is the part that's not doing it any justice. You know, a lot of times with blended malts, I always think, you know, they're trying to make it more palatable for the masses. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to be so individualistic.
Soften things.
Correct. And I think the parts that they soften to try to make it more malleable to a greater amount of people is the exact thing that's holding it back.
The other thing that just baffles me is if you're doing an experimental whiskey, why would you proof it down this much?
Too much.
The people who buy experimental whiskeys are not looking for low proof, and we want to. This actually, I think, could be incredible with high proof.
Is someone looking for low proof out there? Like, hey man, I'm a big Scotch fan. Low proof Scotches.
Hey, your buddy Corey.
You're right.
There's lots of them, man.
God, you had the one ready to go, didn't you? For 8 years. But you're right.
Just well, in case you guys can't see here, there's an Ardbeg 17 right there, and I know he's a fan of the Ardbeg 23. That's actually why it hit that quickly for me.
You are right. I mean, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't think I put water on this.
You may not have.
Yeah,
Go for it. So yeah, just an overall interesting comparison, sure, but these suffer from some pretty obvious flaws. One, too low of an ABV. And two, whenever you're going to get experimental casks, I always say, go for it, man. Don't have just 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just whatever it is you want to go for, just try to make it happen. You had a vision, you did, and this wasn't the vision.
Yeah,
this was a compromised vision. This is trade Micah Parsons, the Packers of all teams. Damn it. There's already a
Mike is ready for football.
So ready for football. See the Buckeyes today. Oh. Told you Archer Manning wasn't going to meet kids going to be any good. Anyway, back to this. What are you picking up with the water?
So when we go into the Forester, it actually held water really well, but it did what most people who are going to buy this are going to hate, which is it intensified whatever this strange Scotch cask is doing, and it's the malt piece, not the sherry. I want the sherry. The sherry on the finish here is very good. The malt and the bourbon they're not meant to be together. They suck together.
You almost feel like they try to show off the cask maturation, perhaps with a lower ABV. Maybe that was the thought process. I don't know. If bourbon people want to know what Scotch drinkers want, I will tell them.
This is, I don't know who wants this. That's my thing. Is like, this is like,
I told you, I'm not impressed with that Old Forester on any aspect.
So what I said is I do like the sherry notes on the finish. The entire rest of the whiskey sucks. I will give it credit. Water actually, it held up really well given the low ABV.
Well, it made terrible, not so terrible. So,
but I didn't lose flavor. It didn't get thin. It didn't get washed out. If you like this particular whiskey, which I don't know who's going to really like this whiskey,
sure.
But if you did, you're going to be very nicely impressed with it. Probably takes water.
Hard to argue. Yeah. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey.
We didn't pick whiskey. Well, we basically did. But
yeah.
Officially, we're picking this one.
If someone's picking up the drink in the bar, go with the Woodford. It is a slightly lower ABV, but you know, if you got two horses tying together.
Just follow-up question though, Mike. Would you actually buy either of these for $50? They're a little more expensive than that, but for $50, would you buy either of these half bottles? No. And that's kind of what I'm going to get at.
I'll never drink either one of these again.
These are not great whiskeys.
But I probably won't drink that Cavalier we had earlier again either.
Yeah, that's going to get sampled out, I think.
That's how it goes. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular comparison. If you guys had a chance to try either one of those, we'd love to know what you guys think. Just until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy, at least they're experimenting. Bless their hearts.
They tried. Participation trophy. Yay!